Greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers. Tiki here,
And BlueDragonFive.
and welcome to the Main Street Cinema, the show where we discuss the finer points of filmmaking. And it's Easter!
Yeah!
Yeah! Easter Eve. Almost like, let's see, like just a few more hours on your end from the East Coast until Easter. How do you feel, BlueDragonFive? Are you excited? Are you pumped up for the Easter festivities at hand?
Little pumped.
Little pumped? Little pumped? Yeah. What are your plans?
Oh, nothing much. Just kind of did some of my plans watching some of our Easter-related stuff. But, I
Indeed.
first watch Back to the Future on Easter. It's kind of what I plan on doing.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Believe it or not, like the night after we recorded the Charlie Brown podcast, Easter Beagle Charlie Brown, my mom called me just out of the blue, and she hasn't suggested that we do this in years, but she was like, Tyler, do you want to color eggs? And after talking about the Charlie Brown episode and how nostalgic we all were for coloring eggs and whatnot, I was like, yes, mother, I would love to color eggs with you. And so, honestly, that's what I did yesterday. I took the bus down and I colored eggs with my mom. It was awesome. So, yeah, good times. But we're here to talk about, last time we talked about it, we're kind of doing a two-parter in terms of, like, our Egg-Tacular, Egg-tastic retrospectives of these Easter classics. Because, Easter is kind of like a more, it's not necessarily an obscure holiday, but it's one where you don't really find, like, obviously with Christmas, we have a full Christmas in July, which is coming up, and I'm excited for it to, there's so many materials from Christmas that you can dig up, and same with Halloween. Easter's a little bit more obscure, so I feel like great Easter Beagle Charlie Brown's the big one that comes to mind. But BlueDragonFive, why did you want to do Rise of the Guardians, considering it's technically, like, it's not fully an Easter movie, so you want to explain?
Sure. Well, much like the holiday of Easter, Rise of the Guardians is one of those films that is, out of the DreamWorks catalog of films, is an underrated, kind of overlooked one. It's really good, and it's just funny whenever you watch it, because it's kind of sold you Santa Claus is one of your main characters. Oh, it must be. It's kind of written off as, it's one of those Christmas movies. But no, it's not. It's about Easter. Easter is the main fixture of the holiday, and it's just so funny that amongst all these great icons, you just gotta remember at the end of the day, oh yeah, it was an Easter movie. It's like one of those.
That's true.
It's one of the hidden Easter eggs of the DreamWorks universe, of the DreamWorks cinematic universe.
I see what you did there. Yeah, I mean, I remember watching this, like, at a hotel one time, and I don't even think I watched the full thing, because there's definitely certain parts of it that I didn't really remember rewatching it. But yeah, you do have a good point. There's so much stuff going on. It really is like kind of like a superhero kind of team up movie, like look at us, we're a bunch of jackasses standing in a circle kind of affair. You know what I mean? Even down to the action scenes.
Which, by the way,
still, my God,
just to get it out of the way before we talk about any further. Yeah, so this is the funny story that in many theaters, when Guardians of the Galaxy was coming out, some projectionist, they put the wrong movie in, and it was this.
Oh no, I didn't hear about that.
No, seriously, it was a big thing when Guardians of the Galaxy. Many theaters actually put this movie up on the screen before they realized, oh my God, we need to put Guardians of the Galaxy on it. Seriously, it was like a major thing. There were some theaters that no were on. They corrected it soon afterwards, but still, it's pretty amusing.
But no, I mean, don't you agree that, like, there's definitely a superhero vibe going on? Like, this film is relentless in its pace and relentless in its atmosphere.
Yeah, and it's funny, the filmmakers go on saying, well, I know we keep getting compared to the Avengers, but we were in production first.
Yeah, well, you know what? Avengers has about 50 years of comic book history on you, buddy.
Yeah. True,
I'm sorry. I think, to be honest with you, I think much more you can compare it to League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, if you want to go that far. But, I think people say Avengers because League of Extraordinary Gentlemen is unflattering these days. But You know what I
I
mean?
mean,
It's like the idea of like a team up of iconic characters is nothing new, but I think it's the way that this movie handled the characters in question and the unique changes that they gave to them that really makes this movie shine.
yeah, I mean, no, I mean, they're not just like saying, "Oh, no, we're not Avengers." No, they're saying like complimentary, like, "No, but we're like basically we love the publicity, but the Avengers came out after this."
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, just so much stands out about this movie to me. Like, the cast is absolutely terrific. There's I can't even begin about the backgrounds and how vast in scope they all are, and how high concept everything is. I just want to get into it. You want to just
Sure. Well, speaking
break
of
it down in our usual formula?
Sure. Well, speaking of backgrounds, let me take you through kind of the really interesting backstory for this film. Okay, so as you can probably tell by the wonderful visual design, kind of the whimsicalness, especially towards the end. This is a byproduct of a children's book written by the wonderful, and I believe drawn by also, the wonderful and talented William Joyce. I'm sure you've heard the name before.
No, I haven't. Refreshed my memory.
Right. William Joyce.
Polar Express?
You know, I want to say so, but I'm not quite sure. But he's done a lot of other stuff.
Because that is like one of my big comparisons with this movie. Is this movie feels like a much more palatable and less creepy Polar Express, or even like a more intentionally creepy Polar Express.
I'm like 80% sure it's the same guy, but I could be wrong. But
okay.
You know, William Joyce, though, he was more so like Meet the Robinsons is actually William Joyce.
Oh, really? Okay.
Again, I'm a little fuzzy on like there's it's either him or sometimes there's like another stylist guy who does like a really close blend to him. But I know some certain things he definitely did. Again, he's done a lot of kids books. Roly Poly Oly was his.
Oh, okay, I gotcha.
One of my childhood favorites, George Shrinks. That's all him.
I don't know what that is.
Well, yeah, George, the kid who's like 10 inches tall, and he's a 10-year-old kid. But it's
so he's like a kid.
Pretty much.
Okay.
Anyway, point is, he's also he's worked in animation for a long time because he's actually, and if you ever look in the behind the scenes for this, you'll see it. You know, he helped do a lot of design work for Pixar in its early days. He did designs on Toy Story and Bugs Life.
Oh, yeah, really? Okay, nice.
Yeah, like you'll notice if you ever look at some of the behind the scenes, you'll see some really kind of William Joyce looking Buzz Lightyear designs.
Well, I'm thinking more in terms of Bugs Life. I feel like that movie pulled off kind of looks for the bugs that definitely made sense, but weren't necessarily the first look that you would think of when you think of the bugs. Like, I'm thinking like the ant hoppers and their, you know, and their kind of like armor-like design, and then like the choice to have all the ants be blue and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, so I feel like some of that was kind of rubbed off onto Guardians, and we'll get way into it with how unique all these characters are.
Yeah, but you'll see, like, William Joyce's designs does pretty much, like, again, Meet the Robinsons is probably the best example of it. You know, it has this kind of, like, this sleek design in terms of, like, kind of like a 50s-ish style, like a pointed at the end design, you know, like if you have, like, kind of like Dash from The Incredibles had, like, in his, like, design phase, he had, like, the hair was to a point. That went kind of like, you know, like a Z. Like, the head would almost make a Z in terms of how pointed it was.
Yeah, I hear you.
Point is, you know, Joyce always had a distinct design. He's a really cool guy. So, again, he writes a lot of good kids' books, and one of those kids' books was Guardians of Childhood. And that, essentially, you know, in 2005, he was trying to get it going himself, but then eventually in 2008, things actually got moving forward with DreamWorks. So initially, you know, William Joyce had more of an integral role as the co-director, but unfortunately, his daughter got very sick and she passed away.
Oh, that's too bad.
Of course, and the real shame is that her name is Mary Catherine, and the big thing is that she inspired the idea for the book. For Guardians of Childhood, she basically posed the question to her father, "Hey, what if Santa met the Easter Bunny?" And that gave him the movie. And that gave him the book, which gave us the movie today. So here's the thing: Peter Ramses was the other co-director, and you know, he took the full reins once Joyce left. You know, he's still like consulting and whatnot.
Sure.
And Peter Ramses actually kind of holds a place of honor as the first African American animation director of a full-length feature.
Oh, nice. Was this his first movie?
Well, it's his first full-length movie. He actually did the Monsters vs. Aliens short film, the Halloween special.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
That's what he did before, and this is his first full-length feature. And again, I didn't know about it until I heard on the commentary or something. I heard somewhere, I forgot where, but it was like he's the first African American director apparently for an animated film. Yeah, it's kind of cool. Yeah, did not know it. Anyway, so also, again, a big pillar in this, you can probably tell just the kind of the style and the ambiance. Guillermo del Toro has always been kind of, especially in the later years, has become a big creative consultant and producer in DreamWorks films.
Yeah, and I think this is definitely the movie in terms of like DreamWorks catalog that shows that the most. This is... Where's the Haunted Mansion movie, Guillermo? You switch sides on us.
Which, by the way, again, Guillermo del Toro, I think that's one of the smartest moves DreamWorks has made of late in terms of using him as kind of a consultant and producer, because he has a lot of great ideas. Like in Megamind, he had his stamp, but here more so you get a lot of the stylistic Guillermo del Toro.
Yeah, absolutely. Like all the environments, all the crazy sort of out there character designs that you wouldn't think would make sense at first, but really work. But yeah, he has his footprints all over this.
But again, you also got to give Del Toro props for he has really great sense of story, and like because again, Guillermo del Toro's big thing with him is kind of like having kids as kind of a focus in places, kind of like tracking the kids and their stuff. So that's another.
And more specifically, kind of tracking kids through like these horrific situations that are also kind of like rooted in history.
Exactly. So I mean, Del Toro, he knows story like there's no tomorrow. So I mean,
for sure.
He's always he has a big role in shaping that atmosphere for this film, which is really great. For example, big influence he has, and usually he's really great at these stylistic opening shots too. Because, much like Megamind,
I love the opening shot here.
That's all Del Toro.
Oh, wow.
He's the guy who suggested that to him. He's the one that said, well, what if you started it at this point? And he did the same thing for Megamind. He suggested Megamind, why don't you start with him falling to his death?
Brilliant.
So, again, Del Toro, he knows how to craft a shot and how to kind of pitch an idea.
And yeah, this is a film where I criticize films sometimes for being, hour and a half theme park rides. I feel like the biggest kind of perpetrator of that in recent memory was definitely Gravity, where Gravity was just like, oh, look at Sandra Bullock float from one space station to another space station. Oh my God, she's in a German space station now.
Got to admit, the trailer for that looked fantastic.
Oh, yeah, and the trailer for that was basically the first 10 minutes of the movie, and the first 10 minutes of the movie was amazing. I'm just saying, on a narrative level, that film had nothing to it. This movie, on the other hand, like I said, absolutely relentless pace to it. Oddly enough, I'm going to make a weird comparison, but this movie almost kind of reminds me of, you're just going to think I'm shoehorning this in because you know how much I love this movie, but Rescuers Down Under.
Really?
Just in terms of the pace, in terms of the fact that it's more of an action movie and there aren't any songs in it and there's really not too many cutesy characters in it. Australia with the Easter Bunny. There you go. There's a little tie-in. I don't know. The villain is very sinister and I don't know. It's just... And it's very underrated in terms of, it came out, right in between some big hits for DreamWorks. So, I gotta say, in terms of, the DreamWorks catalog of late, I would give the edge to How to Train Your Dragons 2 over this. I think this steadily beats How to Train Your Dragons 1. So it's, right in the middle. This and How to Train Your Dragons, consecutively are, the strongest films from DreamWorks. Would you agree?
I would agree. It's definitely one of the DreamWorks' very strong films. Again, overlooked, but very strong. Speaking of that, a big reason this film was successful, in addition to that great visual look, which we'll get into, folks, believe us, but a big element, and how can you not have this big element? They're literally all the children's books, from what I gather, they build up, each character has their own book until they meet. So they even have their own kind of children's book universe going on. The characters, we got to talk about the characters and how awesome these characters are, even on their own, but let alone put them on a team together.
Yeah, and also we have to talk about the voice talent because this is by
this is an all-star voice cast. It's amazing.
And the thing is, DreamWorks constantly gets slammed for having just celebrity voices, and I don't blame them for being slammed.
But in this case,
these
everyone
voices
really
work
good.
So well.
Yeah, they've gotten better with the casting for the most part. You know, like you got this and How to Train Your Dragon, really great voice cast on both sides.
How to Train Your Dragon, I feel, is much more like I mean, it's not like Jay Baruchel and Craig Ferguson and America Ferrera. It's not like those are unknown names, but they're certainly not like Hugh Jackman level of A-list.
Yeah, I mean, I guess this and Megamind had a voice cast that they were a big star power, but they really delivered. You know?
Certainly.
Okay, so let's get into it. For starters, let's talk about kind of our lead character here, the wonderful, the incomparable, the cool, by any definition of the word, Jack Frost.
I feel bad for these people because of Frozen.
Well,
That's all I have to say. I feel really bad for this movie.
One more piece
this movie and Lilo and Stitch both got buried because of Frozen. And I'm sorry, if you see one more piece of Elsa and Jack fan art.
Yeah, if I see I'm just saying, I'm not knocking, I'm just saying it's kind of a little too obvious because I like this movie. It was in my mind. It's like, oh, come on. It's a little obvious.
I mean, it's pretty on the nose. There are a lot of things about Jack Frost and Elsa that are very similar. I don't know. Like, I'm not saying that Disney stole from them or anything like that. Because obviously, films are in production in similar time frames and whatnot. But and besides with Frozen, they've been working on that for decades.
However, not to give DreamWorks too much credit, in the past they have stolen from Disney and Pixar before.
Oh God, yes. Oh my God. I
just want to make that clear. Now they're good. Before, had some gray in there. But Jack Frost is. But they didn't know that Disney had what they had cooking. So I mean, it's not there. Come on.
No, it's really not. I do like the ice effects with Jack Frost.
Well, of course, Jack Frost is a really cool character regardless. He's very different from Elsa in many ways. I mean, there are some similarities there, but there's a lot of really cool differences.
For sure.
So Jack Frost, he's voiced by the wonderful and incomparable Chris Pine.
I feel bad for Chris Pine because of the existence of Chris Pratt.
First going by names and powers so far.
What?
We're just going by names and powers so far.
Well, no, I'm going by the fact that Chris Pine and Chris Pratt have very similar kind of handsome leading man with comedy potential, and they're both in very science fiction-y type roles, and they're both Chris P. And Chris Pratt is clearly the bigger name right now.
Must be coming from a factory or something.
Right.
It's like an assembly line of really awesome guys with CP.
Chris Evans, Chris Hemsworth.
Oh my God! It's an assembly line of Chris's.
It's the attack of the Chris's. Oh God!
The christening.
Oh no!
Anyway, so Chris Pine, he's pretty neat. I mean, I watched him, and again, I never really saw this movie before. I'm still not a big Star Trek fan, but I did see the first of the Star Trek movies, and he was really good in that. I liked him. I saw him in this movie before that, though. Bear in mind, I liked him in this first of all.
Yeah, I'm not a big Star Trek guy either. I do think he's one of the more engaging elements of the new Star Trek movies, just because he's just got a natural charisma to him.
I gotta tell you, I know it's in the air right now. Probably years later, if anyone's watching this, they're gonna say, "What was he thinking?" But I wouldn't mind seeing him as Hal Jordan. His name's being thrown around for Green Lantern at the moment, and I wouldn't mind seeing him play.
I wouldn't mind seeing that either. I think that'd be a good fit for him.
Of course,
he's the kind of actor where it's kind of ironic to say I think he needs a breakout role besides Captain Kirk, because you would think that would be a breakout role. But I don't know. I think he really needs to establish himself. I feel like he could be pigeonholed in terms of just being Captain Kirk. You know what I mean? That's what I fear for.
Does that mean he's just like the Green Lantern they had in the most recent animated show, that is the computer-generated Green Lantern show? He's exactly like that one.
Mm-hmm.
No, I could definitely see him in the role. But the point is, so Jack Frost. So again, Jack Frost, he's kind of like this cool. In the commentary, they've kind of referenced the game. I don't know how intentional it was, but it's they're just talking about hero comparisons, and they brought up Spider-Man. I do get a bit of a kind of a wisecrack.
I can see that. I can see that.
Get kind of a trickster wisecracker vibe off this guy, and I really like.
Well, I mean, also just the dynamic with the other Guardians, because of course, in the comic book, Spider-Man was always the guy who was like, "Hey guys, whatever. I don't, like, you could tell sometimes Spider-Man had an attitude about, like, I'm my own thing, man, I don't need you Avengers, and then other times he'd be like, oh, please let me join, and I think Jack Frost is that same way, and the Avengers, much like the Guardians, are kind of, like, have similar attitudes towards him.
Oh yeah, and I love that there is a tragedy to Jack Frost, because in the beginning, again, he's a big pivotal character in the movie. You know, he awakens, and he just I love just the idea and the kind of the parallels between our characters in this. So Jack Frost, he has that horrific. He survives death. He doesn't know why. He just survives death, and yet he can't communicate to anyone for 300 years, mind you. No one knows he exists.
Mm-hmm.
And yet he can see everyone and life go on around him, and he can never interact with anybody. Except, other Guardians.
Yeah, I mean, it's just such an effective cold open. Cold, very literally. He's just, like, floating up through the ice and then trying to interact with the people, and no one can see him. It's a harsh way to start the movie. I mean, I'm going to keep using that word because I think that's a pretty effective, like, description. It's harsh. Like, there's a lot of really really harsh reality behind
there's some great pathos out there as this movie is, in terms of, like, well, there's no such thing, or how could this happen. There's a lot of really, it's played so realistically in places. So
exactly.
It's played so down to earth, and instantly we feel sympathy for this guy, and we kind of get where he's coming from in terms of, like, why he would, over 300 years, he probably, he develops some humor about things, trying to find some happiness in this sad life he's leaving. He's leading, and again, it's like he's a guy without purpose, and he's just having fun in the meantime, and I think that's really a neat quality to give this character. And he's got a good heart. He's a boundless potential, but until he meets the Guardians and he's chosen, he doesn't really have an outlet for that potential. So he's just having fun. Make sure kids have a fun time. Sure, in a way, making sure the kids have the fun time he's missed out on all these years.
And I like the idea that they give him where he's kind of the guy that's responsible for every kid's snow day.
Exactly.
Just neat little concepts like that I feel like permeate throughout the whole movie.
There's this one kind of mean bit that he does, not intentionally, and again, it depends how you view it to see how much it is his fault. When he causes, like, a bit of a snow gust, you'll notice this one guy has his window open as he's doing some paperwork, and then the papers go flying out.
Well, that's certainly not intentional, though.
Of course. To be fair, though, rewatching it, I think it's the pigeon more so than it's Jack. But then again, he caused it, so I don't know.
Well, it's not like Jack's being like Superman, and he's all like, I have to stop this villain by smashing into a whole block of buildings.
All right. Anyway, let's get to our next bombastic character, Santa Claus, or North, voiced by
Alec Baldwin. Oh, yeah.
Yeah!
This character is absolutely amazing. I love all the mythology around him. I can't get over how creative the use of Yetis are in this movie. Let's just talk about that for a little bit.
We want to jump to the Yetis already?
Well, I'm just saying they're connected to Santa Claus, and I think it's just a really memorable part of his character that he's got a freaking army of Yetis.
I love just the idea that the Yetis are the ones that build the toys, and they just have this great mundanity about their jobs. They're working their grind. They like their job. But then again, they get frustrated at the boss man. Says, no, make this yellow, make this red. So,
right. And he has like a whole pile of things that are a different color.
Oh, yeah, by the way, the one that keeps doing the painting, that guy's name's Phil, and he's awesome.
No, but the character himself, I mean, it's like, as soon as you look at it, it's just so badass. It's like a Russian, tattooed, sword-wielding Santa Claus. It's like, how is that not amazing?
Yeah, I mean, I was a little worried going into it. It's like, it's a kind of an out there Santa Claus. I wonder how I'm going to feel about it. But no, he won you over because as tough and awesome as he looked on the outside, he was every percent of Santa Claus on the inside. He cared about kids. He's really creative, wide-eyed. You love this guy. He has all the whimsy, wonder, and idealism you could fathom. He had the biggest appeal about this guy. He's just a big kid with swords. He's a big kid with swords and Russian furs.
Yeah, and an army of Yetis.
And I gotta tell you, the most endearing quality about the Santa Claus, again, aside from just the pure wonder and idealism he embodies,
Uh-huh.
which I do like, that is kind of a plot point that each of these Guardians kind of embodies something of childhood.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I love his center, which we'll get into. I think that I love just how this Santa Claus will do anything to save a kid. Later on, we see it's a real subtle moment. He just like puts his sword down and just propping himself up to protect the kid. That touches me, man. Yeah, that's Santa Claus.
You're right here, bro.
Yeah.
Right here.
And then again, at the same time, he's just so wonderfully distracted by his own like shenanigans. Like, oh, we're going on a little competition for tooth hiding. Yay!
I mean, you think he'd be like the leader, and he still kind of is, but at the same time, he is like the most childlike out of all the Guardians.
Exactly. He's adorable. This Santa Claus is awesome. And again, Alec Baldwin does such a great job. Again, a lot of people are surprised when you tell them, "Oh, yeah, it's Alec Baldwin." Like, what?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's Alec Baldwin. When you do such a great job, people don't recognize you. That's kind of the tragedy of being a really great voice actor.
Okay, so what else do we have to get to?
Okay, we got the Easter Bunny, or as it's actually spelled, E-Aster Bunny.
Can you go on to the Tooth Fairy, because I have something I need to take care of really quick. So can you talk about the Tooth Fairy really quick, and I'll get back to the Easter Bunny.
All right. I'll talk about the Tooth Fairy, voiced by the wonderful. So we have the Tooth Fairy, voiced by the wonderful Isla Fisher or Ilsa Fisher, depending on your pronunciation. I think it's actually Isla. So the Tooth Fairy, she's got a really cool design about her. She's got kind of this kind of bird-like, hummingbird-like design mapped into her, and she's really passionate about teeth. She's just as adorable and cute as can be. She's really wrapped up in her job. She's not two Fairly Odd Parents type Tooth Fairy, but no, she's really passionate about what she does. She has. It's adorable to know that she has a crush on Jack Frost, and mainly because of his teeth. But no, I think she does actually like the guy. She's got these. She got these wonderful tendencies. Usually a flock of these little baby tooths that are just also these baby tooths. They just have mad love for Jack Frost. So again, he's like the heartthrob of this thing. Pretty funny. And again, I like the idea she's kind of out of touch with kids, out of the most of them, because she's got a really busy job, yet she kind of sees the kids a lot. But again, the biggest, kind of most intriguing idea about the Tooth Fairy is that she is a purveyor and protector of childhood memories. So she kind of embodies kind of all the fond memories a child has acquired over these many years.
Yeah, I think the Tooth Fairy is probably like the weakest of the main Guardians. I mean, there's definitely certain things to admire about her character, and I like the idea of her having like kind of like that army of different, like, do they call them baby teeth, or is it just the one character that's called baby
teeth? I
tooth?
guess by plural it's baby teeth, but baby tooth, each one of them. But they all have mad love for Jack Frost, though.
Oh yeah. Who's she voiced by again?
Isla Fisher, the girl from...
Isla Fisher, yeah, that's right.
The girl from Now You See Me, and the girl from Wedding Crashers.
Yeah. I don't know, she does a pretty good job, but I just don't think this character really stands out as much. Like, I do like the design of her, of course, and as with anything else, like, in this movie, it's very creative, the way they do it. The way they make her like a hummingbird, it's just not something you would think of, but it totally works within the context. I don't really like the fact that she's just kind of like obsessed with teeth the whole time, and they don't really give her a lot of motivation. I don't know.
Well, again, she's protecting the childhood memory. That's what she represents, childhood memories, or just memory in general.
I guess that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, and again, I love it. I think it's adorable the crush she has on Jack Frost, which, by the way, that was a Del Toro edition.
Was it? Really?
Yeah, because he's the one that said, well, at the very least, he's the one that said, "Oh, he has to be a heartthrob."
He has to be a heartthrob.
Yeah, that was Del Toro.
Heartthrob. Oh.
Yeah, because Del Toro, he loves his romance, and a ounce of romance he can squeeze out of something. Because if you look at the Hellboy movies, he loves the romance in that.
Yeah, that's true on one hand, but then again, if you look at something like Pan's Labyrinth or something like The Devil's Backbone. There's not much romance in that, and that's kind of like really the Del Toro I prefer.
Well, again, no. Del Toro also he'd used romance in various views. I mean, it could have been like a weird, demented version of a romance in those movies, and we just didn't pick up on it. But you know.
Well, I mean, yeah, there is like technical. There is weird, demented stuff going on with Pan's Labyrinth that I just won't get into.
So I mean, like him, it might be like between monster and man, or like creation and creator, stuff like that. Sure. The point is, I'm saying Hellboy's kind of the most. Actually, it's the most personal.
Yeah, well, Hellboy. I mean, to be fair, though, Hellboy is kind of like the one thing he's done that's adapted from other material. So.
Right. Well, yeah, he's had a really big stamp on that, though. The 2 is pretty much all Del Toro.
Sure.
Anyway.
But I'm just saying, like, in terms of, like, that you have to have that character and that, like, relationship in there because it's kind of central to the Hellboy series in general.
Right. Well, actually, no. I think they're not really that intimate in the comics. But again,
really?
Remember, there are deviations, Steve. A lot of deviations from them.
Oh, okay. I stand corrected then. That was definitely a directorial choice on his end then, if it wasn't that.
It's actually really personal because he says that's pretty much like the relationship with his wife on screen, pretty much.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Okay, anyway, so we got the Easter Bunny, or Easter Bunny.
Yeah, I got the egg. This is like probably my favorite character in the whole movie, I gotta say.
And he's voiced by Australia's Superman, Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, how good is Hugh Jackman in this role? Because he just disappears into it.
When is Hugh Jackman not good? That's a better question.
Maybe Les Mis?
I don't know. He's still pretty. Even that movie's pretty
good. Yeah, I don't know. No, but like it's so creative. Like the use of like, okay, he's Australian. He's kind of like a warrior type, but he's also just kind of got this cocky sort of like Han Solo type personality.
Yeah.
He's really kind of the main rival of Jack Frost. I love everything about this guy.
You know, he's Han Solo from Down Under, pretty much. You know, he's sheer awesome and intimidation. This guy. You know, I love this idea that he doesn't get the respect he feels he deserves for his job, which is a tough job. It's more so it's kind of a job that only lasts a day, where Santa Claus's gifts can last for longer.
Exactly. Yeah, I guess that's the thing. Right,
he's just kind of tired of like always getting written off as like, you know, Easter is less important than Christmas.
Well, it just is. It just.
No, it is. But you still feel. Well, of course, but you still feel bad for him, though. And there's like, yeah, he's
We're not gonna. I don't think you and me are gonna have an Easter in August anytime soon.
No. We're not. Plus, I just love it. Basically, how can you make someone with bunny in their name really, really?
Oh yeah, that's a great thing. Yeah, right.
It's like this. Like they're posed the question: how do you make a bunny really, really cool? That's not just Bugs Bunny. It's just, we make him Hugh Jackman. Done. Write it down on paper. Call the number now.
Sold.
You're gonna sell all the women in the audience. You're gonna buy tickets. Just go.
There you go. Yeah.
I don't care if he's a bunny. They're gonna see it.
And just the design of him, you know, like just how tall he is and everything, and his like what is it?
He's got boomerangs, which are really cool.
Yeah, he's got the boomerangs and everything. He just looks like just such a cool design.
I love his power, by the way. I really love his power. Like he taps the foot on the ground, like just a big portal hole. And then as a little flower pops out when it seals back up. Well, it's great. And the Easter Bunny's he's really cool.
And I'm sure we'll probably talk about this in favorite scenes, but like I think the Easter Bunny's kind of like Easter domain.
Well, we'll hold off to that till we get to our ending.
Yeah, but that's one of my favorite set pieces.
Sure, of course. So let's see. Let's get to our. Let's talk about the Sandman.
Oh, he is. The Easter Bunny wasn't my favorite character. He's probably my favorite concept in this movie. I love visually everything they do with this guy.
Oh yeah, the Sandman. I kind of lovingly refer to the Sandman as the Hulk of this movie. You know, he doesn't say a lot. He doesn't say a lot, but he has a whole lot of presence, and you love this guy. Yeah, he doesn't speak. He does kind of like a charades-ish sort of thing with his little sand creations. Really cool power
Oh,
again.
but it's
Really.
great. Totally. Like I wish more animated characters were like this these days.
Oh yeah, again, really impressive effect. He's the most well-animated character in the thing because first of all, he's completely constructed of sand, which is really hard to animate,
Yeah,
by the way.
it's really effective. It's really impressive stuff.
And of course, his powers are basically creations and creations upon creations of sand. Again, very hard, but very beautiful the way they do it in this movie.
Right, right.
Again, Sandman is really good. Initially, I don't know where I heard this, but for the longest time, I could have sworn going into this movie he was going to have a voice, and he was going to be voiced by Tom Kenny.
Oh, really?
I heard
Okay.
rumors that Tom Kenny was going to play this guy. I don't know if it was a last-minute choice to
I
recast him.
mean,
I don't know.
if
Not
Tom Kenny was just playing SpongeBob, I wouldn't want to see that. If he was like actually acting, then
That's what I mean. I was
it
saying
might
he
be an
wasn't.
interesting choice.
I mean, that's what I mean. He wouldn't be just doing Sponge. He's a good voice. He's a good voice actor aside
Yeah,
from
I
that.
know, I know. That's not fair. Uh, who
Who is-
would win in a fight? Who would win in a fight? This Sandman or Joseph Gordon-Levitt's Sandman?
We haven't seen that one yet.
Yeah, I know, but you know the comics, right?
No, I know the comics. But no, I kind of want. No, I think I kind of want this one to win. Be a little more
I don't know.
jolly.
It'd be a tough match against Morpheus. Isn't Morpheus like the controller of dreams or some shit like that?
I don't
It's been a
know.
while. It's been a while.
Like that Sandman's more like Pitch Black. Oh, speaking of which, let's talk about Pitch Black.
Oh, there we go. Nice transition. I see what you did there. Ooh.
By the way, I love Pitch Black in this movie. He's really cool.
Let me ask you this. Is this the reason why you want Jude Law as the Joker?
Scarecrow Tiki.
Oh, Scarecrow. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I knew you
this-
wanted Jude Law as some big Batman villain.
Yeah, this is the reason why. He sold me so much in this role. I could definitely see him as Scarecrow.
No, I see where we're coming from there. Yeah, he's I mean, his voice is like probably one of the more recognizable voices in the cast. At the same time, though, it just stands out and it's so menacing and cold and twisted, and yeah, it's a great performance. In terms of the design, I love the all the shadowy horses and everything like that he can conjure up. Just he's kind of like he kind of reminds me of Hades if Hades was played a little bit more straight.
Well, you can tell a lot of Del Toro touches put in the Pitch Black here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you know I don't know, Pitch Black. He really worked for me. You know, he's that cool, menacing presence. And again, you know, it's fine. Jude Law, to my recollection, he doesn't really play villains a lot.
I'll get back to you on that, but
At the very least, he doesn't play like uberly menacing villains like this, and he does a great job playing.
I seem to remember him playing some villains, but I'll get back to you.
Well, I think he plays some great, just kind of quiet, menacing, just fearful menace here.
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
Like, he knows how to play like, the creepy ambience, and then he knows how to spice it up. And, you know, a lot of people just say, "Oh, he's Loki," but no, he's not just Loki. He's really.
No, hell no, he's not Loki.
Yeah, but, you know, again, if there's like an Avengers comparison, people just call him Loki, but no.
I mean, if there was an Avengers comparison, he actually kind of reminds me more of, and this isn't necessarily MCU, but it kind of reminded me of the relationship between Peter Parker and Green Goblin.
Nah, I don't really see that. But, you know, speaking
We're all
of that...
gonna turn on the heroes, Peter.
I'm not saying that.
I'm just kidding.
However, I'll tell you this, though. Here's the thing I love most about Pitch Black. I love how he has an understandable motive. It's like he has kind of a tragedy turned villainy a slant with him. Think about it. He, like Jack Frost, I love it. It's just a setup from the beginning, and then they kind of discuss it later on in the third act, or I guess the end of the second act.
Mm-hmm.
That, you know, Pitch Black, obviously, he represents something negative in the world. You know, giving people, scaring people, giving them nightmares. That's his lot in life. And again, when everything's good in the world, people have, you know, less fear, less nightmares, and he has that thing of people not believing in him, writing him off as a bad dream. So then he doesn't, you know, he's ignored, much like Jack Frost. It's just that feeling of like not being appreciated for what you can do, and just like that whole embitterness of like, just like people hate me for what I do when I do it right, and when I don't, just no one notices me. Like I'm written off as nothing. When these guys, they get all the publicity, everything.
And that's kind of why I kind of pull the comparison with Spider-Man, because I feel like Spider-Man, like not even with Green Goblin per se, but there's, or just, I don't know, I don't even want to compare him to a specific character. I just think the archetype of the villain who's trying to reach out to the hero that feels the most on the outside. Like, I do feel like he fits a very particular mold when it comes to that, but I definitely think they do it, like, they avoid a lot of cliches with it.
Mm. Yeah, again, I just love that visual parallel of just him, like a child or someone walking through him, and then you hear that bone-chilling like reaction shot to it, and just like you connect them instantly. Like, oh man, he's kind of like Jack Frost.
Mm.
And I just love that kind of parallel between them in terms of they definitely have some common ground here.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
So I mean, then Pitch Black, he was interesting and cool. I love the idea he kind of manipulated. Again, he's still being kind of the dream playing level. He corrupted and corroded the Sandman's magic into something really dark and scary and menacing.
Yeah, it really is kind of a big build-up throughout the film, and like I said, the film does feel like at certain times it definitely feels like one big sort of action movie you're chasing. There's definitely times for slowdown, but I feel like at least the first half of it, up until Sandman's big sacrifice, and then when Pitch Black gets control of the dreams, I feel like that whole thing is just like almost like a 45-minute just roller coaster ride.
Oh yeah. So let's see. So let's get into some of our other characters. It's something that this is similar to Megamind and a few other DreamWorks films that I really liked in terms of they keep a really small cast. Feels like more of a tight knit film.
Yeah, for sure.
Here's kind of a similar case. So right now we're just kind of heading to some supporting character territory, which is not a lot. So we start with kind of our main kid, Jamie Bennett.
I don't think this is the strongest character in the movie. I get what they're trying to go for with him. I don't necessarily think he got a ton of development.
Well, I mean, they worked as much as they could.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. It's like he's obviously, like, I guess there's definitely things they could have done to make it worse. Like if he would have been like a big presence throughout the whole thing instead of just worked into key scenes, I think maybe that would have been a little more problematic.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just didn't find the character to be all that interesting on his own. I just kind of saw him as a plot device.
Yeah, but I kind of liked how they worked him into the story in terms of like, well, that's how Jack Frost knows the kid because he had a little adventure with him at the beginning. He's just there, and it's like we kind of cut back to this kid. I like that. I like how he's working there.
But I mean, what are the odds that like the kid that Jack Frost is interacting with at the beginning of the movie is then going to turn out to be like the one kid, the one singular kid that still believes, that kind of.
Well, I mean, think about it. It's because he's kind of affecting his. It's because he started to affect his belief, I guess.
Jack Frost was affecting his belief.
Well, I remember, like he hit him with he drew his little whimsy with a little snowball, and then the Tooth Fairy gets involved. So that he is a logical stop on the Tooth Fairy's route, and then just things go south at that point. And remember, it's kind of practically laid out for you. So then when the Tooth Fairy stops, that's when things go south, and then they get transported to the other dimension. So I mean, then from that point forward, is kind of he's wrapped into the story.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. Okay.
And of course, after the kid obviously sees all these. Again, for some stupid reason I keep going with the fairy tale creatures by I guess guardians. I don't know. I wish there was a better term.
The guardians.
Yeah, no, yeah. We keep going to these guardians because he just literally saw the guardians in his bedroom. Obviously, he's going to have the strongest belief among any of the other kids on the globe who were kind of their beliefs at an all-time low. So obviously, he is kind of the go-to kid at the end of the movie.
Okay.
I don't know. I think it's a little more logical for why he's the one.
I thought it was really predictable. I thought it was really like telegraphed that that's where they were going for as soon as they showed the whole like, oh look, it's the map of all the kids and all the lights are going out. I wonder who's going to be the lost kid.
Well, I mean, they're not really building like who is it going to be. We know who it's going to be.
Well, I'm just saying I definitely felt like it was telegraphed that he was going to be kind of like the big sort of event in the end of the movie. I don't know. like, again, my main complaint really is that this kid feels like more of a plot device than a fully fleshed out character.
No, I like the kid's kind of arc in terms of like he's the kid. He's just an innocent enough kid. He's willing to believe in the whimsy. He's looking for Bigfoot, that sort of stuff. He's a quirky kid, but he has a willingness to believe. He has like kind of the classic any kid scene of like he's trying to make a deal with the imaginary bunny of like thinking, okay, listen, if you're real, just give me any sign of it. Come on.
Is he like Parappa the Rapper? Does he gotta believe?
I do not understand that reference.
I'm sorry. Okay.
Anyway, so also let's speak of Jamie. Let's transition to his sister, who's just as cute as can be, little Sophie.
Yeah, she doesn't have a huge role, but I really love the scene that she has with the Easter Bunny and in that whole dynamic. Because it's really the first moment in the movie where you see that the Easter Bunny has a real soft spot.
Exactly, and again, the best thing about this, again, with a lot of the animation in this thing, aside from our major characters, just with all the kids, we're not going to go through all of them, but for the kids.
Oh God, no.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about Cupcake now, but
Cupcake Boy. Hey, it's Norman. Hey, it's Jack.
No,
Jack Frost.
It's Cupcake Boy's little sister.
Oh God.
We haven't met her yet, but she's there.
Yeah.
My point is, all the kids, they have really kind of realistic kid dynamics and mannerisms. Like Sophie is the best one out of all of them. You can believe there's like a little girl. The producers plucked her from reality, put her in an animated film.
Well, I mean, especially because of like just how excited she gets over every little thing. It's like she's like just freaking out about it. You know what I mean? In a very like giddy sort of way.
But again, they got really I should point out these are the kind of the William Joyce touches here of like having a greyhound for a dog and things like that. Just like little touches like her falling down and say Sophie fell again. Again, these are all kind of realistic kid touches. I really like it. And again, speaking of it, just dawned on me. Like Sophie fall in the beginning. Apparently, she's falling out of bed throughout the movie, so it's like this kid has an equilibrium problem.
Oh God.
Anyway, so let's talk about some of our pals from the pole, the elves.
Elves, yeah, not a whole lot to say.
Not a whole lot, but again, the idea that the Yetis do all the toy building is one of the most hilarious gags in the whole thing. That they think, as Jack Frost says, well, wait, I thought the elves built the toys. No, they think they can. And we see them screwing around. As the saying says, oh yeah, very nice work, guys. It's just priceless to me.
That's honestly the only scene I really remember the elves from, like, vividly.
It's the idea that they make the cookies, and they're there for moral support, and they make the cookies, and they cause mischief, and they also have. I love the kind of they're silly with attitude because they have that one really funny reoccurring bit that when they do the little guardian welcoming ceremony, dun 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 dun.
Oh yeah.
One of the elves is like playing like one of the fanfare horns, and then just after Jack is kind of like, no, screw the ceremony. Just one of them is like, I give up. Just pushes the guy out of the way. I'm done here. I'm out of this movie. Like one of them kind of like befriends one of the little walking eggs. So, there's a whole bunch of that.
Sure.
Okay, so I've discussed Baby Tooth. They got mad love for Jack Frost. Pretty much, that's all our characters.
All right.
So let's talk about let me summarize the plot here.
Go for it.
So, Man in the Moon. Which, by the way, I love the opening to the movie, how they finally worked in the perfect way to do the DreamWorks logo.
Right. Yeah.
If this movie was more successful, they would have kept it. The movie was more successful.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, do you think we'll talk about a sequel more later, but do you think that this movie is going to get a sequel at any point?
Personally, no.
No. You don't think
I wish. I would welcome it, but no, it's not the case.
I'd love to see the Man on the Moon, like, as a character in the sequel.
Right, but we'll get into that.
Yeah,
so
we'll get into that. Yeah.
So the mysterious Man in the Moon, or Moon as an entity, the point is Man in the Moon, or Manny, as North refers to him, picks...
oh, look at me, I'm the moon. I'm the moon. I'm the moon. Right. I'm sorry. I'm doing Mighty Boosh.
Anyway, so in a nutshell, there's a man in the moon who picks guardians to protect and inspire children, usually through via kind of our holiday / whimsical icons.
Mm-hmm.
Jack Frost is among them. Is among one of these icons. He's he has no memories or acknowledgement. He had for over 300 years he's had no memories or acknowledgement of who he was or what his status is as one of these figures. So 300 years later, with the return of the boogeyman, Pitch Black, and his evil magic, his new little trick, evil black nightmare sand. This leads to the Guardians this leads to the Guardians and the Man on the Moon recruiting Jack Frost to help them stop Pitch Black, and save the kids and kind of the belief in the Guardians. So by the end of the restoring his memories, rescuing everybody, and restoring kind of purpose and gaining some purpose and acceptance, and at the end, he takes the offer to become a Guardian of childhood.
Indeed. Yeah,
pretty much.
Like we said, it's really, in terms of the story, it's a very simple sort of just bare bones kind of like hero's journey type story. Yeah. It's really just more the destination and the visuals and the characters and the designs that really make this movie.
Yeah, like join the team, stop the bad guy, help the kids, pretty much in a nutshell.
Exactly.
And okay, so that's the plot in a nutshell. Pretty straightforward. Yeah, pretty simple, but again, filled with all these great characters, and in addition to characters, some grand designs, which we should talk about.
Yeah, let's talk about it. Yeah, for sure.
So it's very imaginative and creative.
So where do you want to start with this?
Okay, let's see. Well, first of all, the city. The city, looks like a small town of a city.
Yes, it does. Good observation.
You believe it. Like, you remember that opening sequence where you have Jamie kind of going through town during the snow day, kind of in a really like seat of your pants, not action scene, but kind of adventure.
Well, it's more of like I like to call it kind of a chase scene.
Exactly. Again, it's really well animated, by the way. Just Jack Frost indirectly kind of causing this kid to kind of veer out into the street, and he's really, again, just showing you that he does indeed. He's not a bad guy.
Hello? Hello? Oh no. Okay, so we were on Atmosphere, so I guess I will talk about Atmosphere while BlueDragonFive, let me see if my speakers are still working. Yep, they're still working, okay, so hopefully he'll, come out and pop back in. So, in terms of the Atmosphere, yeah, I agree with BlueDragonFive about the town. It's very quaint. It very much feels like I don't know, something out of a 1950s Christmas card or something like that. Like very timeless. And it's just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the different designs. I mean, let's talk about the whole when it comes to this movie. Hello.
Hello. Sorry, where was I?
Yeah, I just made the comparison. Well, I just made the comparison that they're talking about like something out of the 1950s Christmas card.
Right. Oh yeah.
Like,
hello.
And just by the way, like I just we haven't really said much more about this, but the animation in this film is breathtaking.
Right.
Like, I would say, besides How to Train Your Dragon 2, this is definitely the best-looking DreamWorks movie.
Oh, by all means, of course, yeah. The animation is great. Shows you every fiber, every texture. It's really great.
Right. Would you say it's above How to Train Your Dragons 2?
No, by no means. Not above 2.
Yeah, you can't go that far, because that movie was just a game changer. How many creatures were on time and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay, let's see. What other environments do we want to talk about?
Well, let's talk about the Tooth Fairy's realm, or her little domain. So again, I love the upside down structure we got for it. It's really kind of structures built for flight, so you go all around, it's kind of hung upside down. And there are actually some really interesting designs that have been used like this in the past. Like, I'm not sure if there's any of it rooted in history, but I remember Avatar: Last Airbender, when they go to air temples, there's one in particular that's it's built upside down.
Oh, nice.
So the airbenders could have like flown to each section upside down, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Really, really cool idea. And again, I love just this whole memory access idea, is just visually communicated that, you have your teeth in like a little special box, and you tap it, and then you have all your childhood memories associated with that year of that tooth.
Yeah, this movie definitely does a good job of world building.
Mm-hmm.
And doing it like through very specific details, but not taking a ton of time on it. Just like, and it kind of probably would benefit like on rewatches, just because, just all these little details are just coming at you with all these different characters and their environments, and it really is quite a feat to just the sheer scope and size of all these different environments, and also the just how many little things we see. It's really quite good.
Oh yeah. Let's go to the North Pole.
Okay, North Pole. Well, like I said, my big thing about this environment is the Yetis, man. I love that idea.
So again, it's just awesome. We kind of instantly go into the North Pole. It's bustling with awesome workshop stuff. Again, the Yetis, he's building the toys, elves making the cookies, all really cool ideas. Again, it's just so full of wholesome great stuff. You got toys going all over the place, like flying toys, this whimsy, and he's making like a little train that flies for some reason. That just breaks it. It's like, I just love this kind of like, it's just such a funny reaction by both of them, just like screaming like, you destroyed my Mona Lisa, really funny.
Yeah.
Let's see, let's go to Pitch's lair.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, just overall with him, it's just like all the shadows and stuff are just. I'd say you're right on the money in terms of like out of all the characters, he's definitely the one that has the most Del Toro like influence.
Yeah. First of all, here's some great little catches on Pitch. You might read more on the second viewing.
Okay.
Well, Pitch's lair. First of all, I'm amazed, not amazed, but I'm fascinated by the idea that it's under a kid's bed. Right.
Yeah, that's again, it's just one of those world-building things with this movie.
It's under a kid's bed, and it's deep. It's down a deep, dark hole filled with shadows and cages.
Yeah, it's creepiness to the max.
Exactly, and I love how it's like he doesn't have any fancy globes. Like he's like an outdated, kind of corroded little it's basically the continental structure is built on the thing. Like no globe itself, just like the land masses make the globe.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So I mean, it's really low tech in terms of he's been forgotten. Like he's not a guardian, so he doesn't really get the same advantages. So he's doing it himself in his own kind of lair, where he's just kind of clinging to the scraps over all these years.
Exactly.
Because with them in the world, making the world a better place for kids, he has no purpose. And again, really kind of good parallel Jack Frost here of being without purpose for all these years. And like he's done nothing. Jack Frost has been just kind of meandering around.
Yeah, he's just kind of been like a nomad the whole time. He's just kind of been like, just on his own.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Jack Frost, and there was initially, I didn't see it myself, I heard about it, that there was going to be like a scene showing Jack throughout the years kind of aging with the people. Well, he wasn't going to age, but him as the world changed around him throughout the years, just being alone.
Uh-huh.
Which would have been interesting, but cutting some time, just kind of jumping into it was just seeing him in the modern world was still pretty cool, just seeing 300 years.
No, yeah, I think you're right about that. It definitely gave the movie like a very deliberate, kind of alarming pace to the whole thing.
Which, by the way, a difference from the books is that the books are set in that 300 years ago time where Jack Frost was. Yeah. But also, I love, again, another kind of little connect is that you'll notice way back in when we see Pitch Black's backstory, we see that it's in the same town as Jack Frost.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
So, again, there's a lot of similarities between these two guys, which I really like.
Sure.
Okay, let's see. So again, also speaking of those towns, again, kind of neat seeing like the towns from 300 years ago. Pretty cool.
You mean with the Jack Frost flashback?
Yeah. Jack Frost and the Pitch Black flashback. It's a nice little town we go through.
Yeah, it's more just kind of like a small little village.
I gotta tell you, I love the way it's shot in the beginning. Just has it's really hard to describe, but it's just basically kind of like not a handheld camera per se, but like kind of a camera that's kind of bobbing up and down. It feels really cinematic.
Right, and I think you can say,
you know what I mean?
You can say the same thing about a lot of the cinematography in this movie. It's really rich. It's really vivid.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's like when he just plops down at the beginning, like when he just like kind of crash lands after he gets his powers
No,
for the
yeah, I
first
know what
time.
you mean. Yeah.
That's what I mean. Really, really, really good stuff. And just overall for this design and the animation, I love. You know me. I love mundanity and illogical logic.
Of course you do.
Yeah, like a logic to the illogical. That with all the creativity and logic applied to this universe, like so many creative ideas, and one of the ones that just makes me laugh so hard is that the Tooth Fairy, after the moment where they go into the little tooth hunt, which I'm sure we'll get to in a moment, few moments, uh, they realize they need to leave change, and apparently Tooth Fairy, again, as magical as everything is, Tooth Fairy just can't conjure up just change because it'd be weigh her down. So they go to a laundromat.
Yeah, yeah.
One of the funniest, most Guardians of the Galaxy-like images in the movie.
Indeed, indeed.
Just them in a laundromat. These whimsical figures: Santa Claus, Easter Bunny, Tooth Fairy, just in a laundromat getting change.
Change. You got change.
You can imagine it's going to be a lot.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Really funny. Really funny.
All right.
Okay. So again, let's talk a little bit about, unless you have any other kind of design elements you want to talk about.
No, I'm fine.
Let's talk about the score, because that also plays a big role in the whimsy of the movie.
Yeah. Again, it very much reminds me of like something like Polar Express. It's very bombastic, very emotional. Moody at different points, scary at different points. It really runs the gauntlet.
Oh yeah, I believe it's if I'm saying his name right. Alexander. It's either Alexander or Alexandre.
Alexander Desplat.
Yeah, that's the guy.
Yeah, he does a lot of Wes Anderson movies these days.
I also believe he did the most recent Godzilla, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm not sure about
that.
If
I'm like 90% certain he did the most recent Godzilla.
I know he was nominated for an Academy Award for The Imitation Game.
Right, and then again, I think it makes me really think that he's the one that did Godzilla.
All right, well, look, I'll fact check that really quick.
So
you're probably right.
With this score, he really just brought that kind of that powerful and really magical score. So I'll admit, there are moments where maybe you could have scaled it back a little, but when it's there, oh man, it's just awe-striking. Like a moment where like he's talking to Jack Frost. I think the music maybe goes on just a bit too long, but it's really good though.
Yeah, you're right. He did do Godzilla.
Yeah, well, you know what I mean. It's just it has this grand majesty to the music, and also in terms of. Now you notice each character has a theme in the movie, and the thing with these themes is that they all have the fanfare worked into it in some way.
Yeah, I think he does it in a really good way. It kind of almost reminds me of how Disney does their the music in their fireworks shows, where they'll have all these different themes and then connect them back to the main theme that they created for the fireworks show. Kind of works like that a little bit.
Yeah,
I don't know. It just feels very majestic.
Yeah, so the really straightforward version of it is like when they're just playing the little like acceptance thing into the gardens, like dun 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 dun. Dun, dun, dun.
Right,
but then,
exactly.
like the main action theme, like the main theme of the movie is like dun 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 dun, dun like all actiony and Avengers-y. And then again, you have like moments of like the twisted version for Pitch Black, dun, dun. And of course the grand heroic version at the end I really love, like just the grand re-entrance of a character. Dun, 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 dun. It's like a Superman theme of it, you know.
Da 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 da. Oh wait, that's Star Trek. I'm stupid.
Dun,
okay.
Dun, dun, dun. Jack Frost.
Okay.
Okay, so let's get to the weak points.
Weak points. Okay. Really just very minor nitpicks. We already kind of talked about one of my nitpicks with the kids, so you kind of explained that as well as you could, so we'll just move on from that. I guess my only nitpick is the fact that, spoiler alert here, the fact that Sandman gets killed off in a really effective, dark way.
Oh, yeah.
And then he shows up at the end of the movie for really, like, no explanation.
Well, no, there is an you're right. There's no explanation, but you get an idea how it works. Remember, we saw the kids.
Tell me that. Tell me.
Remember, we saw the kids touching the black magic because now they're no longer afraid of it, which turns it back to remember it is based off his magic after all.
Okay.
So I guess just because they reactivated his magical properties, it reconstitutes him because now he's in control of it.
Yeah, I guess so.
The point is, it's like they first of all, now they're not afraid of him. They cure the dark magic to make it Sandman magic, which I don't think is that big a stretch. That now there's Sandman magic in the world can restructure a Sandman.
Yeah.
There's some logic to play. You're right. It could be stay a little clear, but I think it's kind of builds towards an awesome reveal. No,
it is an awesome reveal. So really, besides those two things, I got nothing, man. Like this movie is wrong. I find it hard to pick out weak points with it.
I got more devil's advocate weak points, like something to discuss. So maybe we can talk about that.
Okay,
again, really nothing. I don't really have a problem with any of this at all. I'm just saying, like maybe for the critics' view of it, like, is it overly whimsical?
No, I don't think it is because there's a lot of dark elements to it.
Yeah, I don't think.
I feel like it almost feels kind of Don Bluth-like, to tell you the truth.
Oh man, I never thought. You're right. It does have a Don Bluth vibe.
It does kind of, because it's like, and Don Bluth is famous for saying, you can take the audience to as dark of places you want as long as you know that they're going to be okay in the end. And that's this movie in a nutshell. I really do think this movie is like, and you know me, I love my Don Bluth. So,
well, to be fair, Don Bluth kind of stole that from Disney, that little line of his.
Well, yeah, but I think Don Bluth kind of took that philosophy that Disney had and pushed it further than Disney will ever have the balls to actually do.
All right.
So, that's my stance on that.
Anyway, so I don't think it's overly whimsical. However, there is one bit I think is debatably overly whimsical. Again, just that moment I just mentioned of like after that great speech Santa Claus gives, and we have the score playing as we kind of follow like one of the ships or something going outside the room. Again, I'm just saying maybe it goes on too long, but again, the music's so good it's hard for me to just say.
Exactly. It's just.
Okay, now here's some actual one legitimate one that maybe. Something kind of bugs you, but it's not a liar reveal exactly, but it's like basically.
I know what you're talking about. It's basically the moment.
The misunderstanding.
Misunderstanding, yeah.
Yeah, it's the It's kind of the Easter tooth, the Easter tooth memory misunderstanding. That the way this is handled is that Jack Frosty's dealing with pitch black in a moment, and again. Jack Frost, as far as he knows, he's traveling back after he dropped the kid off, and he hears a cry from unfamiliar cries, like saying, "Jack, Jack." Now, of course, if it were you or I, wouldn't we check that out? Wouldn't you be a little curious?
I'd be a little curious, yeah.
He investigates, and he sees, and of course, Baby 2 said, "Hey, come on, man, we gotta get back there." I said, "No, I gotta check what's down this hole. I mean, someone's just calling my name. I gotta check that out." He does that, and it's pitch black. And he didn't know pitch black was down there. How was he supposed to know? And he finds all the baby teeth, which is good. Hey, we found them.
Yeah, I mean, on paper, you'd think that this would be a big success for Jack.
And, of course, then it takes a dark turn, pretty much saying, why. Because they establish that he's the most powerful guy who can defeat Pitch, apparently. Right. But, yeah, it's fine, because we did see it happen after the tragic death of Sandwich. Man, that was played so well.
It was, which, again, it kind of bothers me that he comes back after how dramatic that death was, but whatever.
Right. Anyway, so basically, so Jack Frost he displayed his true power there. Basically, they make a point of saying, "Well, Jack, you can't be gone too long because what Pitch comes back. You're the only guy who can defeat him, apparently." Mm-hmm. So pretty much, so Jack's dealing with Pitch Black, and Pitch Black's like ominous line after he just hands him the teeth, saying, "Well, while you're gone, don't worry." Using that. Yeah. So pretty much since he's gone, there's no one to protect the eggs, apparently.
Right.
So apparently,
you gotta protect the eggs.
So basically, it's this Pitch saying, "Well, you're too late to protect the eggs because you're down here with me." And again, my big question is, how is he going to get back to the Easter realm if he didn't have a snow globe? But it's nitpicking. So the point is that
I think this movie is just told more like a fairy tale where you just kind of have to go with everything.
I mean, I can leave it open to speculation. Okay, maybe there's a portal still open. Maybe, I don't know. So
how did we get here, Crunk? Well, by all accounts, it doesn't make sense.
Oh my God! Don't make me think about it. Don't make me lose focus like that.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You know what we love, Emperor's New Groove. Anyway, my point is, then Jack comes back and he sees like all the eggs are crushed, and then they're at the park and saying, well, the Easter's ruined now because they couldn't have stopped the eggs from being smashed because there were too many of them, and they needed Jack's magic. And I'm just saying, then they see him holding the teeth and just instantly assume that's what you left for. And of course, this could easily be solved with no, I didn't mean for this. All he says is I didn't mean for this to happen. But he could have just said.
Yeah,
No,
you're right. It could be easily solved with. Yeah, I'll agree with you. I think this is probably like the most contrived point of the movie. I just think the rest of, like, literally everything else besides this one little moment of contrivance is so good.
I mean, don't know. It's a greatly emotional scene, and I think the acting kind of trumped. I think if they just wrote a little more around the acting, it could have worked.
I hear you.
It's like as if essentially the issues are there, just the dialogue's not. As if it was saying like, no, your focus has only been on these teeth. You don't care about us. You don't care about our cause. It's all about you. So again, unfortunately, that wasn't in there. It was more so just literally, you weren't here.
Right. Exactly.
And then it's parents, you weren't here. Get out of here. And that's about it. Then you have that kind of cool shot, like him leaving the little Santa Claus, had this whole grand speech about how he has, like, what is your center, Jack? It has like a really cool looking little Russian doll, like all the little layers underneath.
That's one of my favorite kinds of symbolism in the movie.
Exactly. You have this little wooden Santa Claus with like big eyes. What do you see? Big eyes? Yes, big eyes that see wonder.
Mm-hmm.
So again, really great thing. It basically just leaves that behind because he's betrayed these guys. I mean, again, the emotions are there, just a little clunky. It's not a bad scene, just a little clunky.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree with you.
Okay, I got two more. One very minor nitpick.
Okay.
This bothered me when I saw it in theaters, though, more so. Why is Santa so weak in the third act? Because, I mean, it's not Christmas that's been ruined, it's Easter. He should be fine. And kids are still going to believe in Santa Claus. Like, the idea is people the Guardians get weaker when people don't believe in them. So far, I mean, 3 of them, yes. Santa Claus, you should be fine. Christmas is still on the horizon, guys. It's around Easter.
Yeah, I do like the idea of, as we said earlier, why we're doing this on Easter is that this movie is technically an Easter movie. And, of course, we love the idea of when the Easter Bunny, when he starts to lose his powers, he turns into, like, a literal, like, cute, tiny little Easter Bunny, and it's adorable and hilarious.
I think it's the biggest laugh in the movie, by the way.
Especially because, of course, he still has all of his attitude and everything.
Oh, yeah. But still, I mean, Santa Claus doing it wrong. I love kind of the weak Santa Claus protecting a kid, but still, why is he so weak? I mean, Christmas is still on the horizon. But then again, I guess just by proxy of like, well, if there's no Easter Bunny, then why is there a Santa? There must be no Santa.
Yeah, I guess that's probably it. Yeah, that's probably
the last one was just more of a personal missed opportunity. But I mean, I'm not faulting him for it. I'm just saying, like, it would have been kind of neat to see if Sandman and Pitch were brothers.
Sequel.
I mean, now it's a little late for it, but
No, I'm just saying sequel. No,
because the first time I saw the movie, I just kind of assumed they were brothers because they're both dreams, nightmares, using sand.
Oh yeah, you're right. That's a really good theory, actually.
Again, I'll admit, remember, Avengers came out before this, but still, again, there's the comparison came from that, the fact that Avengers came out first. It made me in the back of my mind thinking, hey, it might be kind of like a Thor-Loki dynamic.
Right.
Anyway, so again, I think it's more of a missed opportunity than anything. It's nothing really. So again, more just minor nitpicks and just like devil's advocate.
Yeah. I think overall, we can both agree that this movie's got like a ton of stuff going on to override any sort of negative flaws.
Of course. So let's talk about some highlights. A few highlights.
Highlights. Okay. This is always my favorite part. So I gotta say, I guess my first highlight would probably be, sorry, BlueDragonFive, I'm gonna take it from you, but I'm just gonna kind of leap it together. So maybe if you want to talk about one part or the other, but for sure, one of my big highlights is like how Jack Frost gets revealed in the opening shot, and then transitioning that to like the scene in the middle of the movie where he finds out his memories. I think that whole thing is just like, that's one of the most Don Bluth style things that this movie does. It's so emotional. All that flashback. I love the look that you see on Jack's eyes when it cuts back from the flashback. And we talked about it over and over. That whole opening scene of him coming up through the ice is just like absolutely like astonishing in terms of setting the mood.
The rebirth shot with like the hair turning white.
Right, yeah.
Which, by the way, kind of reminds me of Avatar: Last Airbender, because they do that with a character that kind of gets born through the moon and their hair turns white.
No spoilers. Yeah, so I don't know. I don't really have a ton to say. We've already talked a lot about the, about that opening scene, but I just think, like, thematically, visually, it really ties everything together well. I like when movies can do this, when they can have a really distinct opening shot and then go back to it in a very major way, kind of to tie things to the character back together. I really thought it was done well.
Well, again, I've kind of mentioned Santa Claus's kind of center speech, which is really well done. Again, thematically.
Oh, I love it. Yeah.
Thematically ties in everything. You're finding your center, and at the end, it made him like a little Jack Frost little wooden doll. Adorable. Big things. Well, of course, the Tooth Fairy kind of little challenge sequence is pretty cool.
Remind me about that.
Well, I mean, you remember, like, it's basically they're going to help out the Tooth Fairy. Like, had all her little baby tooths kidnapped, so now she can't. The kids are starting to see.
Oh yeah, you're right. That whole it's kind of like an Ocean's 11 kind of heist type of thing.
And again, they're so gleeful. Again, they all turn to kids, because Santa Claus is just like, oh, we're gonna have a contest so you can get the most teeth.
Right. And of course, Jack and the Easter Bunny have a big rivalry going on throughout it.
Again, it's
and then the Tooth Fairy, she's like, oh, I haven't been out in the field in 300 years.
Yeah, again, it's such a kind of a great camaraderie and just leads a really not intense, but really hypercharged little fun scene of like it's like scavenger hunt almost. Like, hey, get the, like, you get the tooth, and then they realize that a dumbfounding moment of, wait, we haven't leaving gifts, haven't you? And then it's really funny, and just like even seeing like leaving just like Christmas trees and gifts and candy canes.
Right.
Easter eggs. It's really funny, really kinetic, really neat. Okay, real quick, just one mini moment. I love when Pitch Black's doing his kind of his Fred Astaire dance when he's like getting all flamboyant about like stamping out all the childhood.
Right.
5, 4, 3, 2, and just like snap his fingers. Really great.
Probably the biggest laugh of the whole movie for me is the moment where Santa gets knocked out by the sand, and the sand candy canes swarm around him, and he's just like, "Oh, candy canes!"
And then the
delivery of that.
And remember, then the carrots that are in the Easter Bunny's head dance with the canes.
Oh God, so good. Okay, so my second favorite scene would be, I can't get over how freaking cool the Easter Bunny's domain looked. You know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of almost something like, I'm gonna get very nerdy here, but it kind of reminded me of like a combination of like Mario and Zelda in terms of just how fantastical it was, but mixed with kind of like an era of like realism, like Zelda has. I don't know. It just looked great.
Well, put a pin in that. We're gonna get to. Can you put a pin in that so we can get to it when we get to our next category?
What's our next category?
Well, just the Easter implications of the movie.
Oh, Easter implications. Okay, sure.
Let me get to the last highlight, then we'll get to the Easter.
Well, I guess let me just say, I already kind of brought this up, but I love the interaction that the Easter Bunny has with Sophie, and how it's kind of like the first time in the movie that he really kind of just lets his guard down and, really kind of just interacts with, with a character of any kind on a deep sort of kind level. And that's definitely a favorite moment of mine, for sure.
Oh, yeah. So one last bit of highlight here. I guess the two particular scenes with the Sandman, again, the sacrifice followed by the funeral, really powerful stuff. Again, just the Sandman and the music really helps communicate just the heartbreak. I love just kind of that superhero moment of Jack Frost seeing it transpire and blaming himself.
Exactly,
seeing the Sandman just gets stabbed in the back with like a bunch of black sand. Then he just
it almost kind of reminded me of like a Star Wars moment, to tell you the truth, of like You know,
It's a
like
bit of the
Obi-Wan
Obi-Wan
watching Qui-Gon Jinn get killed.
Well, I'm thinking more so like Luke seeing Obi-Wan die.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, it's pretty much just like getting stabbed and it's the realization, embrace the fear, little man! No!
And guess what? The Sandman did get struck down, and he did come back more powerful than they could have ever imagined.
That's my other favorite moment. I mentioned a little before. I just love the re-entrance, and my favorite bit in the whole movie is just that, again, he's the Hulk of the movie in terms of he defeats the bad guy by smashing him around a little.
Right.
So again, the basically all the sand transpires. Again, the kids saved the Sandman, which I really liked, and the kids saved the day.
Sure.
There's just and then when he re-enters, and he's just scaring the crap out of the boogeyman, which in itself is funny.
Mm-hmm.
Just that realization of, oh, now the Hulk's back in the picture, essentially.
Right.
And then he grabs him and he's throwing him around, and he throws him up in the air, and then here's the moment I love. I just love the simple, it's so silly, but I love it. Of this, the kid said, "Hey, Sandman," and then just he creates a little hat and tips his hat to him.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
So basically, that musical build followed by a little tip of the hat. That I love. That I love so much.
Okay.
So let's transition to the big reason we're all here today.
Well, really quick, my third favorite moment is, it's not even so much a moment, it's just a visual, because you know me, I'm the dinosaur guy. I love the giant sand brontosauruses.
That's a William Joyce design by any stretch, I can tell you that.
It is so freaking cool. I love that to death. Okay.
Yeah, William Joyce loves dinosaurs and manta rays, which, there are some people...
Manta rays, too. Yeah, the sand manta rays. It's so creative.
You know what's funny? Some people have said that, why are all the kids just dreaming of animals? Wouldn't they be dreaming of much cooler things? But here's my counterpoint. Here's my silly counterpoint. The movie must take place in 2017, because that's when people would have seen The Good Dinosaur and Finding Dory.
There you go. There you go.
It's my silly counterpoint. Anyway, so let's but the reason we're here today, let's talk about the Easter stuff. In this
Okay. So, as you mentioned, it's kind of like a whole story about how the Easter Bunny kind of feels like he's playing second fiddle to some of these characters.
Yeah. So again, with that, Easter then finally gets importance. He says, well, as much as it pains me to say this, Easter is for one time more important than Christmas. Did you hear that? Did you hear him say that? Then we go to the Easter Bunny's domain, which is, oh man, it's so cool. It is kind of the showstopper of all our realms, perhaps.
I love how literally, they have, the Easter Island heads.
Yeah, so I love these. He has these giant battle-ready eggs. They kind of turn their faces from friendly to the war-ready.
Kind of like the mayor in Nightmare Before Christmas a little bit.
Yeah, kind of like the mayor, yeah. Again, it's just such a cool idea of how they do Easter in this little domain here. It just amazed me. And so many cool ideas. The biggest ones being how he paints all the eggs.
Right. I love that whole scene.
It's such an efficient and really beautiful process that, we see, first of all, the biggest thing that I find the most adorable and most awesome thing about this movie. Easter eggs with feet. Little itty-bitty egg feet. And I just love the idea. And we don't see this happen, but I'm just going to assume this happens. The eggs will walk around to a specific hiding place in the real world, and they will lose their feet as they find a hiding place, and that's how the kids find the eggs.
That makes total sense. I like your logic in that.
Again, love the illogical logic.
Oh yeah.
So the point is just seeing these little eggs with tiny feet, which are just adorable. Little eggs with tiny feet, just walking around, just being sprayed by the plumes of flowers and fall into these really kind of magical ponds of lakes of multicolored paint that just literally, it's like a single color sort of deal.
Right.
So basically, it's like there's no blending. It's like the perfect paint job, magical paint job.
Exactly.
Yeah, just all of this is brilliant stuff for me for the Easter Bunny. It's like a creative way we've never really seen Easter done before, which is really just impressive.
No, not at all, man. I mean, it's like when you think of Easter, you just think of fluffy bunny rabbit and whatnot, but it's almost, there's kind of an almost mystical kind of element to this.
It's like ordinarily in movies about kind of holiday, holiday icons, much like when you get a bunch in the same place, same time. Usually, Easter Bunny's kind of the Aquaman of the group.
I'm kind of thinking like the Fairly Odd Parents Easter Bunny.
Well, the Fairly Odd Parents Easter Bunny essentially was Robert De Niro.
Yeah.
Essentially. But, the point is, what I love most about it is usually it's like Aquaman usually gets the shaft, but now it's like actual Aquaman, whereas he's really pretty cool when you think about
it. Right, exactly.
Basically, let's make him Australian. That henceforth will make him cool.
Do you know any background on why they decided to go with Australia?
To be honest, I'm purely assuming it's because of Hugh Jackman.
Nah, that makes sense. I'm
purely assuming that. They just figured, hey, we had Hugh Jackman do a voice for us in another animated movie. Maybe we can get him back.
Right.
Remember, he was in Flushed Away.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, one of my favorite moments in the movie is the moment where the kids stop believing in the Easter Bunny.
Oh, and then he has that realization that he's just like Jack Frost, where he's like...
Right.
Oh, yeah.
That's some good stuff right there. And really good character development.
I love the line where he reveals what Easter embodies, and that's new beginnings. That's what Easter's all about. The spring coming, new beginnings, and new opportunities. Mm-hmm. So, with the setting of Easter, the reason why I think this is really pretty set around Easter is it really kind of embodies a lot of things here. Like, one is like the running dynamic throughout the movie is Jack Frost versus the Easter Bunny, in a way. Obviously it's not like fighting, but it's like... it's
like a big rivalry, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Think about it. Think what they embody. Jack Frost is kind of the past. He can't get past the fact he doesn't have any memories.
Sure.
And again, he's just embodying like that lack of past, and this guy who refuses to grow up in a way, a Peter Pan almost.
Do you want to be Peter Pan? Do you want to be Peter Pan, Norman?
Well, then the Tooth Fairy said, "Well, Peter Pan never forgot to have sex."
Okay. Okay, sorry.
The point is, Jack Frost, he embodies kind of the past and all that stuff. He kind of refuses to grow up. He's faced with the fact of, hey, why don't you become a guardian? And he's like, no, I don't want to become a guardian. Then the Easter Bunny, again, representing new beginnings, represents kind of things on the horizon of change.
Sure.
Something Jack Frost wants, but he just can't get. So again, it's just sort of this great dichotomy between these two.
Sure.
And again, the Easter kind of embodies what the holiday itself kind of embodies. Chris watching this movie kind of communicates is that it's about finding something, and just relating it to Jack Frost's character arc. It's about finding something that's surprising and changes things for the good of children.
Yeah, well said, absolutely.
You know what I mean? It's like you're finding something you didn't expect to find, and
right.
It's a surprise, and it changes you in some way, more like for the actual things. You find something that changes you in terms of, I'm happy now. But, it changes Jack Frost in a profound way in terms of, I could actually be a guardian for kids because he is doing this for the good of kids.
Yeah, and really the whole movie definitely has that kind of Polar Express feel where, not to be cliche, but it's all about believing. Ooh.
I gotta tell you, it's really tragic when you really think about it that, Easter Bunny, he failed at his holiday, his big day of the year. The day's been like 300, some figure of 365, and his day, he failed at it. And he must feel terrible about it in that moment.
Yeah, exactly. It's a really powerful, just the animation on his face and everything, and how he's like, no, that's not true. I'm real. I'm right here. And
yeah,
the kids are just like, no, the Easter Bunny's gone. He's not real, guys. Let's go and say, it
is so painful when Jamie's like the last kid that believes, because again, he's literally seen him in his house, so of course he believes.
Right.
So then he's the one saying, oh yeah, you should see him. He's really cool looking. And just those kids saying, well, Easter's just not coming this year. That's the most tragic thing you've ever heard. Like kids, oh, there's no Easter this year.
Mm-hmm.
That's just imagine again. It might be. Again, I think it was probably proper to set around Easter and not Christmas. Because if there was no Christmas, that would have been too tragic.
Exactly. Yeah.
Just the right amount of tragedy,
Okay. Anything else to say about the Easter themes?
I don't know. Just the Easter theme was really cool. It's like that. Again, it was really kind of neat of them to show you have a cool character like this version of the Easter Bunny. You want to showcase. Well, let's do Easter in a way no one has ever seen it before.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I guess the last thing we can get to is Well, I think you and me can agree there's kind of a long shot that this is going to get a sequel. I think it's ripe for sequel possibilities. So you want to talk about really quick, kind of keep it down to like a 5-minute pitch or so, but some of our ideas that we might have.
Well, I don't really know about ideas much for this, but again, in terms of sequel, what's been kind of said is
Well, let's more talk like less in terms of plot and more in terms of like what other new Guardians could we see or
well,
opposition to the Guardians.
we did have that one scene where they were speculating about other potential Guardians before Jack Frost was announced, and they were speculating who it might be, and basically Easter Bunny had Mr. Potato Head moment of like, well, not a Mr. Potato Head moment, a Rex the dinosaur moment of like, no, please not another dinosaur, in terms of him saying, please not another groundhog, like, please not the groundhog. And the idea that Sandman's like thinking of it's a leprechaun.
Dog is like just a totally like legit professional badass.
Oh, he should be voiced by Bill Murray.
I don't know, but oh, I love the idea on paper, but that might be a little bit of a reach.
Well, think about it. Well, Bill Murray's awesome at voice work.
Yeah, he is. He is.
I'm saying Bill Murray. This is off the top of my head. I'm just saying Bill Murray was this guy that could play him kind of like literally the Bugs Bunny that he is on the inside, and just in terms of like him just being like the Easter Bunny is like the most cool guy looking on the surface, but he's really neurotic on the inside.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I see it.
But basically, what if Bill Murray was like? He was like the most non-threatening bunny, but he still was like the most like smooth talking. Like, hey, come on, well, not a bunny, just like a groundhog. Just saying, everyone comes to me on one day to see if I see my shadow or not. You know what? I make the decision if I see my shadow or not, and there it is.
Okay, you sold me.
365 days, and all I have to do is get up.
So basically, like with it'd kind of be like. The Groundhog would replace Jack Frost as like the main rivalry, and I could almost see Jack Frost and the Easter Bunny kind of being like bros in the sequel.
Well, that would be kind of funny. Again, I'm not saying they should actually do this, but I'm just saying that'd be kind of cool.
Okay.
I mean, again, I just in terms of what I want to really quickly address, like the actuality sequel. They did say they had interest in doing a sequel, but again, the reason I say profusely there's not going to be one is because DreamWorks' current state, folks, unfortunately. It's getting worse.
We're lucky that we're going to get How to Train Your Dragon.
We're kids, as much as I would adore seeing a Megamind 2 or Guardians, Rise of the Guardians 2, but it's not in the cards because they're just skating by. Because most recent grosses for that crappy home movie, you know what it's like, I believe last time I checked it, 115 million is what they've taken in so far worldwide. And you know how much they spent on the movie?
200. Well,
no, the 135 million. So they're still, I don't know. I mean, they're still there a few weeks in, but I don't know. It's not looking good.
I just think they need to stop doing movies like Home and like Turbo and stuff like that.
That's what I'm saying. It's like every other movie it's like 2 steps forward, 1 step back.
Exactly.
So I mean, thankfully their next movie is Kung Fu Panda 3, which is looking better.
I still have to see Kung Fu Panda 2.
By the way, they've announced casting on that, so they've officially confirmed parts now. So Bryan Cranston is in fact playing Poe's father.
Yeah.
They got Rebel Wilson as kind of an arranged marriage panda, which could be interesting. We'll see it. We'll see how I'll give him some credit on that. And Mads Midskind, the guy playing Hannibal on the show Hannibal, he's playing our bad guy. If last time I checked, he's like a soul-stealing bad guy.
Could be interesting. Okay.
So yeah, I mean, also they announced J.K. Simmons in some unconfirmed parts so far. I'm thinking he's gonna be a kung fu master of some kind.
What if he's just like a kung fu equivalent of his character in Whiplash?
Well, I mean, the thing is, it's funny. He's played so many teachers too, because he's played another kind of master in Legend of Korra. He plays Tenzin, one of the main guys.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that. Nice.
So, I mean, he plays like a regular kind of straight-laced guy with some comedic moments, but kind of a straight-laced mentor master guy. But the point is, it's not looking good for DreamWorks at the moment. So I wouldn't bank on any additional sequels because they are making those kind of mistakes right now. But
yeah.
However, some other icons perhaps, like Cupid could always be fun.
I think Cupid would make an interesting bad guy.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Why do you say that?
I don't have any sort of like hardcore like plot in mind. I just think like like you think of Cupid and you think he's the god of love, but I just think like if they could like get a plot where he's you know, kind of bitter towards the Guardians or something like that, you know, I just think it'd be an interesting sort of kind of switch of roles, you know what I mean? I don't know.
Right. Well, you know, I would like to say kind of the Dios de los Muertos, but again, Pixar's kind of they're having enough trouble to try and get that off the ground already.
Yeah, let's not touch that.
My point is, well, we gotta think outside of the holidays here because remember, you know, Tooth Fairy and Santa.
What about Mother Nature?
Again, I'm thinking that's kind of treading too much on Santa Claus 3 or the Santa Claus franchise.
Why does that tread on? How does that tread on Santa Claus?
Well, not. I say Santa Claus because it's. I'm just saying that kind of they've done the whole Mother Nature thing. In excess, I mean, the Mother Nature's kind of a big character, and Father Time, and you know those characters.
Father Time would be a good one.
Yeah, again, I don't know. I mean, it sounds cool, but I don't want it to be overdone.
I think the Man on the Moon could be a legit character in the next one.
That is something. However, I don't know. I kind of like the mystery of you don't know who it is. But I would like to hear a voice maybe next time. You know?
Yeah. You and I kind of both said like this would be funny if they could actually pull it off, but it's kind of tricky territory. Uncle Sam representing the 4th of July.
Oh yeah, something. I would love to see something representing Halloween, but again, just trying to think of something to be kind of cool.
Yeah, like what do you think?
Well,
I don't know. Like,
I want to say like something that would represent kind of from beyond the grave. So past again, if you want to go for a Don Bluthian type idea, you can go for like someone who kind of a blend between kind of Halloween, ghosts, memories. So like something like what if you had like a really tragic villain that is a character who just he brings about the memories of lost love.
Okay.
So what if he's kind of a blend between a Cupid and a ghost?
I could see that.
What would you think? Would you think like a more tragic Cupid, or would you like kind of a ghost who brings about the lost loved ones? And there's an idea. They have Jack Frost's maybe what if we checked in with like the idea Jack Frost lost his family all those years ago?
Well, yeah, you would think so because it was like 300 years ago.
Exactly. Now that he has his family, it's like the real plus all the Guardians because they all had lives before they became Guardians.
Right.
So maybe we find out a little bit of backstory in the Guardians, saying what they've traded, what they've sacrificed to become Guardians.
I could see that. I could see that being a nice backstory for sure.
There's a bit of that. Let's see anything like any other icons of any variety that we could maybe see something with.
I'm trying to think. Maybe Baby New Year.
Oh, I think Easter kind of covers our new beginnings.
Okay, yeah, that's true.
Let's see.
Tom Turkey.
Let me think. Something with thanks. I don't know. Thanksgiving's a really hard one.
Tom Turkey.
Tom Turkey. No.
Okay.
I think we've learned anything in animation. Turkeys do not equal success.
There you go. I can't argue with you there. Oh, let's see. I don't know.
Well, again, any mythical, not mythical, like any like big childhood icons you can think of at the moment.
I'm trying to think. I mean,
like there's Tooth Fairy. There's like Tooth Fairy, Sandman, Boogeyman.
I mean, they also mentioned the Leprechaun.
Which could be cool. I mean, seeing kind of a luck. You can see the embodiment of luck through the Leprechaun. What's something relates to childhood also relates to an icon. So not Santa.
I don't know.
Fall. No, not fall. We can have Groot in the movie. No.
What about the stork?
Birth. It seems too adult, not kid related.
No, I agree. I just think I'm just saying that's another like kind of like tall tale thing that kids get told.
Right. Okay, tall tale. Anything like some.
What about Bigfoot?
Well, we already have Bigfoots essentially.
Yeah, that's true. Well, not necessarily. No. There's a difference between Yetis and Bigfoot.
Well, that gag is like Phil signs the kid's book at the end saying, "Oh, it is Bigfoot." Ooh.
I don't know.
I don't think we want to overcredit
someone who's kind of like into Bigfoot because like Bigfoot's been spotted in California a bunch of times. There's a difference between the Yeti and the Bigfoot.
Let's see Bigfoot take one of these little selfie thingies. Let's see if he
God.
Then we'll know he's a real person.
Okay. I don't know. I can't think of anything else.
I don't know. I kind of like, again, Father Time sounds like an interesting one. Because Father, what if Man in the Moon?
Yeah, I like that. I like that idea.
Again, I hate kind of stepping on those toes, but yeah, I guess Father Time would be a really cool idea. I've seen Father Time done in really cool ways. In Danny Phantom, there's a really cool idea with a Father Time-like character. That he was a ghost that was named, I think his name was Clockwork. I'm pretty sure his name is Clockwork. That he has a really cool visual motif that he would, each second that ticked by almost, like every second or a few seconds after every, like a few lines of dialogue, he would, like, shift into, like, he was a kid version of himself, like the regular age version of himself, then the really elderly version of himself. So he keeps shifting times, like past, present, future. If you had like a Father Time type thing, it would kind of call into question, like, how long until the kids grow up? How long until they outlive their usefulness? This man, what if he was the bad guy, Father Time? No, what if he was bad?
It could be something, because time is something that absolutely works against the idea of childhood when you think about it.
Oh yeah, so what if Father Time was like not a bad guy, what if he's like an indirect bad guy, just a bad guy that is like, he's a bad guy in their eyes, but really not a bad guy. You know, like, it's just his job. It's his job to age things forward. And what if it was, I don't know, what if you had like a demonic version of Cupid?
Well, that's kind of what I was suggesting from the start.
No, I'm saying, what if you had like an evil version of Cupid? That's the villain, but Father Time's also in the picture, and essentially Cupid attacks Father Time, making him like be vengeful and aging things ahead of time.
Okay.
So basically, turning Father Time into a bad guy. Maybe they have new recruits like Leprechaun and Groundhog.
So it's like a civil war between the Guardians.
Well, not a civil war, because they're all on the same team. But I'm saying they're trying to stop Father Time, which is kind of the big.
Well, I'm sorry. I mean, like, just a war between like all these mythical creatures. Kind of reminds me of something like X-Men. Like,
well, actually, Cupid. Oh, what if Cupid actually? Oh, here's an idea. Real quick. What if the boogeyman got to Cupid and kind of turned them bad, and they both kind of. The Cupid was like splitting apart the Guardians, making them making the fight go against each other.
Yeah, that could work.
And maybe Father Time's like the kind of like the Watcher in terms of he can't interfere, but he's just watching things transpire.
Sure. Yeah.
Like, something like that. And the point is, there are ideas to go with in this franchise, but unfortunately not a franchise to be seen.
Yeah, unfortunately. But we still have the awesome original movie. I think it'll be, it's kind of interesting because it's almost like kind of like a new Nightmare Before Christmas in a way, in that you can watch it at several different holidays and take away the same message from it.
Oh, yeah. I
mean, I guess in this case it's specifically Easter and Christmas instead of Halloween and Christmas, but still, it's a really good. I think it's going to stand the test of time in terms of, like, I think 20 years from now, do you think anyone's going to be talking about the piece of shit they just released? Home.
God.
You think anyone's going to be talking about that?
I'm just mad that movie exists.
I think we're all mad that movie exists.
Just mad that we have to wait a few more years because of that movie for How to Train Your Dragon 3. That makes me mad.
Alright, so any final words on Rise of the Guardians?
Sure. So overall, it's a really fun movie at the very least. Say what you will about it, it's a really fun movie, a lot of cool action, a lot of good whimsy. Again, genuine, love that genuine. I think it's great for kids. This is a movie you would definitely want to show kids. Again, maybe it's a little more for action, character, and speculation over intrigue and plot, but again, I think the characters really kind of.
I think I'm willing to totally let that go because it just works so well as an animated movie.
Exactly.
It works so well, like, with the confines and with the, it plays to the strengths of an animated movie so well.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, like, those things kind of outweigh when you really think, like, does it need like a really intricate plot? No, it's perfectly fine the way it is.
Exactly. I think if they had a more complicated plot, it could go off the rails a little bit.
And again, I think the only actual gripe I have is maybe it could have used a better transition from the end of Act 2 to Act 3, again, with the whole egg break.
Yeah, but again, it's really minor things.
But again, it's a really good film. So I guess if we had to give it a rating. Out of
I'd
5.
say maybe
Out of
8.5 out of 10.
I was gonna say out of 5. But, I guess then I put it at a 9.5.
9.5? Okay. Yeah, I'm not going to go as high as a 9, but I'll definitely go as high as an 8.5.
Well,
Okay, fair enough,
actually,
fair
let me
enough.
scale it down. I had it 5, so I kind of screwed up my rating. But let me think. I guess 8, actually 9 might be the actual.
9. Okay,
Yeah,
cool, cool,
I'll
cool.
give it a solid 9.
All right, all right. That works, that works.
So, overall, it's an Easter. The last kind of word on this thing would be it's an Easter egg of a delight in DreamWorks' catalog of animated films.
Indeed,
One
indeed.
you overlooked and one you should definitely check out, folks.
For sure, for sure. And let's see, I'm trying to think of a clever quote to go out on. Do you have one?
I'm not a kangaroo, mate. I'm a bunny.
There you go, there you go.